One of the most exciting days of the year for me is when I open a new collection from Ten2Sen, a stamp designer in Malaysia. Absolutely some of the most beautiful and original stamp designs in the world, and she takes all of the care to create delicate wrapping for each collection. So in this case, she's created little hand-folded paper sleeves for every single stamp, made from Asian calendar sheet pages, and then each one has this protective plastic sleeve on it. She puts out many designs per collection, and I have to very carefully choose and force myself to edit down because of course I want every single one. So I think about which ones really pluck at my heartstrings at that particular time. And I kind of went a little wild with this collection, and I got quite a few of them. So I'm going to unwrap them and then swatch them into my stamp log. So cute. Okay, now I'm saving the wrapping for my journal. And I've transferred all of the stamps temporarily onto this white tray so that I can swatch them in my stamp log book. Now this is volume 2. I do my stamps alphabetically by artist, and I have to kind of do some guesswork on where in the O section, for example, to put a particular artist. Just guessing how many pages I'll use for other artists within the same letter category. But I'm going to take my label sticker for this artist, Ten2Sen, and place it onto the page in the new journal where I'm going to begin swatching this collection. In volume 1, which I have filled up over the last many years. These are Midori 1 page a day diary that I use as a log book. So here are my prior Ten2Sen stamps all the way back to her first collection. Where I kept some of the wrapping and personalized notes from each collection as keepsakes, commemorating each new collection. My swatching is a little bit sloppy. I kind of cram them in onto the page. It's not as elegant as I would like, but sometimes I use a change in ink color to indicate either a new series or a new sub-collection within each release. Okay, I think for this collection I'm going to coordinate the inks with the color on the surface of the wood for each design, roughly. So navy blues and olive greens. I'm going to start with the trees. It's not a very juicy pad. It's not giving the depth of color that I'm looking for. So even though this green is not as olive, I'm going to try that out. Yes, that's nice. Birds in the trees. The text on this one says, "Write a tree, draw a sound." It looks like several of my ink pads are in need of re-inking. Oh, isn't that beautiful? I'm just amazed at the delicacy of this artist, of her design work. There's always a bit of a playful quality, a sprightliness to her drawings, but at the same time, an overwhelming sense of serenity and of connection to nature that really, really speaks to me. I don't think there's anyone else on the planet doing something quite like she's doing. The label is Ten2Sen. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that the way that she would. The artist's name is Phoebe, and she's based in Malaysia. So here we have the pods with numbers and little tiny scenes. The cat in the window, a little bear or critter looking over the kitchen table, and a little shelf with a coffee mug and books. Cozy domestic scenes. This one is looking in on a room with a cat and a library. So petite. Perfect for going inside the vertical columns of a weekly planner spread as little details within the day. This is a box of dreams. It says use it or lose it for following your dreams, and it has little stars to represent each vision, each dream that you're delicately nurturing and trying to bring into reality. This one in the bird series is a bird mobile or mobile with a ship in the center. And finally, in the dream series, box of dreams with a window that has several different planes of action, several different axes with the windows in various states of open, and the drawer juxtaposition, just really interesting perspective line art, and a branch seen through the window. Okay. Birds, clouds, hills, and the frame has a rough line at the top and straight lines on the other three sides to give it a real sense of continuing into the unknown above. Okay. On this cute little fellow. Absolutely adorable. Simple line art, but so expressive. As someone who tries myself to draw cartoons and minimalist design, I'm struck by an artist's ability to capture expression through as few lines as possible. The little detail under the eye really works for me on that one. For Year of the Snake, I was going to make some Year of the Snake stamps, design some myself, and I didn't get around to it. But she has absolutely done what I had thought about doing, but much more perfectly, which was to make the year out of snake bodies. So I'm very glad I didn't attempt it, because I would have wanted to toss mine aside and use Ten2Sen's. Wow, I inked the edge there a little bit. Sorry about that. Okay. And did I get everybody? I think so. Now these cute gift stamps, which are a total surprise and so fun. A little taxi cab. Again, I accidentally inked the edge. I'm not watching as closely as I ordinarily would because I'm trying to hold everything under the camera and I'm very much new at this. Okay. And this little guy. So then inside my journal, my stamp log, I keep a sheet of blotting paper designed for fountain pens, just to, so that when I close that page, if everything's not fully dried, we're okay. Here you can see some stamps by Tomato Nasu from China that I just swatched recently, but most of this volume is empty at this point. Some stamps by Initial One. Hanan Studio. And most of these are artists who, like Ten2Sen, I filled up my page for them in the first volume. Recently, one of the main ways that I've been using my rubber stamps is to stamp cloth bags or little pieces of fabric, which I cut from either from sheets of fabric or from failed attempts to stamp a bag where it didn't work out well. I have a scrap that I check whether a particular design is going to come out as neatly as desired on a bag before I then go about designing with it. And this is actually one of Ten2Sen's from last year, from Year of the Dragon. And a little journal from Singapore artist Raw Market Shop. And so over the next few weeks, I'll be experimenting a little bit with these. When I print them onto fabric, I use StazOn Ink. And you have to be really careful to clean that off immediately with a chemical stamp remover, which can be damaging to the rubber. So you want to get it off of there and really take the time to clean them carefully to preserve the life, especially when you've gone to the trouble of importing designer stamps from overseas that are limited production, and you have some of the few that exist in the world, and you want to take good care of them. So these are my thoughts, my ideas of how I'm experimenting with stamps lately. I really love sharing ideas with other people in the community about how to keep a stamp log book. Several of my friends do it in a very different way than I do, and we like to exchange ideas. So if you have thoughts or comments or feedback on that process itself, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Thank you for watching.